to the ground, you know.
Yeah, well, I've just got back from Afghanistan.
Tell me about that.
Well, you go and you see people, you know, the other part of any war is the occupation of, you know, like with Afghanistan, yes, there was the initial, you know, fighting of the war. Now it's this kind of, you know, occupying and defending and, you know, basically monitoring the borders to keep, because the Taliban keep coming back.
Yeah.
And you'd say, at a certain point, they say, but when do they because we have hardcore night vision capabilities, you know, goggles that can actually see through people. Like, oh my God, you have, what a lovely thing.
Yes.
When you walk around, you see all these guys going, hi, Mr. Williams, nice to see you. oh, yeah. But, you know, that part is you see people over there, and will be there. Some have been there for a year. Some have, you know, if we go into Iraq, you'll see people who'll be there for, you know, locked off in basically the northern frontier. And that's the second part of people occupying and trying to just now start to rebuild Afghanistan, which is a big, big job. Yeah. It's one of the most heavily mined countries in the world. It's going to be a long time before they have the Afghan Open, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's wild. It just blew a wheel off.
Do you have any capacity, opportunity to talk to people that's not away from, in other words, is there any chance for you to interact with
Afghanis?
Yeah, Afghanis.
I've met only a few. I met some that were like, they obviously were the guy wearing the Dolphins T-shirt, you know, had come back. Yeah. So you've been here all day? Yeah. Oh, no. The people coming back, some were, I think, in the civilian capacity of rebuilding teachers and architects, you know. But Gram they told me that used to sit in one of the most fertile valleys in Afghanistan, and then throughout the 10-year war with the Soviets, they blew up all the aqueducts. And now, you know, it's basically like the Dust Bowl.
It's just awful.
Amazing to see. You expect to see Henry Fonda going, well, you can't get out. Yeah. And I met only a few. I mean, a few, basically, you know, expatriate Afghanis coming back to rebuild. And everything you see around is pretty much blown up. I mean, if a guy had an aluminum siding business, big money. And, you know, it's basically...
Somebody's going to hear you say that tonight, is going to say.
This guy going, Earl! Bobby, come on, we can make a killing over there. There's a lot of roofs out.
Yes, exactly.
They got problems with mice. No, that's bullet holes.
Can you say Kabul? Can you say Kabul?
Kabul. Come down to Kabul. All of these houses can be built in the only moment it's calling now. What do you do? Come on down to Club Burqa. That's also another thing when you go to Afghanistan, you think an Afghani transvestite. Who would know? What are you doing? Hello, beauty. Very difficult. But in answer to your question, I'd only met a few Afghanis, and I think they had just come back. I met a lot of soldiers, men, women, you know, and they were just happy someone remembered them because, you know, it tends to be, if it's out of the headlines, people forget, but, you know, we have a lot of people there.
And, you know, people are not thinking about Afghanistan. I mean, it wasn't that
short time ago. Yeah, there's other stands, you know, a series of stands. I went to Turkey,
Kazakhstan,
Uzbekistan, Uzbekistan, Loralstan. Yeah. And then you go to Pakistan, which is where we have this, you know, relationship where it's, you know, they have a base within a Pakistani air base. Yeah. And, you know, it's a very unusual thing. And they have, the Pakistanis have guardhouse, you know, they have these little, I said, who's that? They said, that's the picket post, where the Pakistanis are protecting the airbase. And the guy lives, his house is the guardhouse. What are you doing? I live here. No one is going to get by me. This is my home and my guard post. And you're going, oh, that's good for defense.
Yeah. Did you go for the U.S. government? They sent you, when you went over there?
Me there. I went there with blessings of Dick Cheney and a lot of Enron stock.
Did they ask you to go, or did you go on your own? Or
I went on my own. Excuse me. We'll work for laughs. Excuse me, going to Kabul? They gave me a ride. They put me on a C-17, which is basically a plane big enough to carry Anna Nicole Smith. You know, back her up, Bobby! The sides are open. And then they put you on C-130s, which are the same, the loud plane. You know, just the guys are wearing, you know, you have to have, and you get off going, that was a great flight! Thank you! And you go off the back, you know, it's basically like a plane for the incontinent. The back drops. And, you know, and then as you get closer, I knew things were strange as we got over Afghani airspace. We were just about to land. They do two things: a combat landing, which is where they spiral in so you make less of a target. And the second thing, we were in because